Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name is Bob, I'll be your host. And welcome back to my June storm. This month I've decided to go over, to make June a theme month. And this year, the theme that I'm doing is homebrew material. And I invite anybody that's a content creator to go ahead and bring out some of their own homebrew and share it with people. This isn't a plea for a collab or anything. It's just allowing people to see what all you can really do with a game. And in this video, I'm going to talk about Transformers. Anybody that knows me or has watched for a while knows I'm a little bit of a fan of Transformers as well as role-playing games. Well, years ago, there was no Transformers role-playing game, and you had to come up with it yourself if you wanted to role-play Transformers in a tabletop setting. And so, back then, I wrote up rules for a Transformers game using the 3rd edition D20 rules. And this was before I learned of Mechamorphosis being out there, which is kind of a Transformers game in a generic way. It's pretty neat. I did a video on it. And then more recently, they have came out with an official Transformers tabletop role-playing game. Why Hasbro never came out with one? Because they own Wizards of the Coast? I don't know. Instead, they got another company to make the role-playing game. So, back then, before I knew all this, and before things existed, I created my own. And that's what we're going to go over in this video. Since there's no real book for it, there's no art, there's no date, no page count or anything. So, what you're going to need to play this game is you'll need a copy of the D20 rules, D20 roleplay rules, or a copy of the Player's Handbook for 3rd edition or 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons. You also need a full set of dice. Full set of dice containing a 20-sided die, a 12-sided die, preferably two 10-sided dice for rolling both percentiles and tens, an 8-sided die, a 6-sided die, and a 4-sided die. Character generation for this game is pretty much standard for a D20 game with a few little tweaks. Your attributes that you use in this game is, of course, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And you determine these by rolling 3 6-sided dice, adding them together, and placing them in the attributes, or however you normally do your attributes in your D20 game. Now, these will alter as you pick other things for your character. Your alignment in this game, instead of a normal alignment like in Dungeons and Dragons, you have a side that you belong to, and you pick this at character creation. And what there are is there are the Autobot Loyal, the Autobot Crazed, the Autobot Warrior, the Freelance Greedy, the Freelance Loner, the Freelance Nuisance, the Decepticon Follower, the Decepticon Warrior, and the Decepticon Power Mad. Thanks, Starscream. And these will be what team you belong to and how you kind of act within that team. And so, everybody will want to get together if they want to be on the same side. And it's the Game Master's job to work everybody together. Now, after that, you pick a race. And the races I came up with for this game are the cyber animals, and that doesn't mean that your transformation is an animal form. What this means is that your robot mode is an animal. Think Ravage or Laserbeak. Instead of a bipedal robot, you have an animal for your robot mode, and then you transform into a vehicle or a piece of machinery or what have you. After that, you have your Cybertron Citizen, and this is your basic run-of-the-mill transformer, your common everyday type of guy. And then you have the Soldier. Soldiers were transformers that were clearly made for combat, and they're thinkers for the battlefield and so forth. Then you have work drones, and drone is kind of misleading. They're not completely brainless. They have their own personalities. They do their own things. And they're not controlled, but they're your laborers, your workers. And then you have your combat drones, which, like the work drones, they're not completely brainless. They're not controlled or anything. They are basically your run-of-the-mill grunt in your armies and so forth. After that, you'll want to pick a class. The classes in this game have a few extra features to them. Each class has a function to it, and when you choose the class, you pick a function. There are several functions for each class, and as long as you're in that class, you stick with that function. You can't pick a new function every level. If you multi-class, you get to pick a new function for that class. But if you go back to the old class, you have to stick with the function you chose for that class already. And the functions will tell you what talent tree you pick when you gain a talent as you gain levels. But the classes are the Infiltrator, Ops, Rogue, the Combatant, and the Explorer. And after that, you'll pick a transformation. And transformations will give you more bonuses to your attributes and a free feat and some special abilities and so forth. And you can change your transformation later on, but you got to get Game Master approval, and you have to have had your last transformation for at least a full level before you can change it. And I got some rules for that. And then that's pretty much character creation. And there's a money system involved, and I created some stuff for it before they came up with stuff in the expanded Transformers universe, so to speak. So you can buy more equipment and stuff and use them to bond the equipment to yourself and armor and so forth. But one of the new things that I added in this game was Energon points. Energon points are kind of like hit points. Your class will tell you what your hit die is for your hit points. Your transformation will give you a bonus hit die, and your race will give you what you get for Energon. And Energon is spent for a variety of things. Transformers don't really heal naturally. Instead, they spend their Energon points to do so. And you get several points back for spending Energon to heal if you're outside of combat. Inside of combat, it's pretty much a one-for-one basis. You also spend Energon for bonuses to certain tests and die rolls and to activate certain abilities. I came up with some new feats for the game, such as triple changing and combining. Those are feats in my version. And I also came up with some prestige classes, and those are the Action Master, the Headmaster, the Power Master, the Pretender, and the Target Master. And so that's pretty cool. I really wanted to work those in. So I have write-ups in the game for Quintessons, Sharkticons, Junkions, Bases, and so forth. And a few Cybertronian type animals like Turbo Foxes and stuff. And all in all, it just uses the D20 system, and with a few little tweaks, like I said, such as the treat entry skill. It is, if you have it, you can't treat humans or anything. It's for treating Cybertronians, other Transformers. And repair can't heal a Transformer, but you will get a synergy bonus for your treat entry if you have repair. So there's that. And everything else is just pretty much a standard D20 game. And that was what I pretty much came up with before there was an actual Transformers role-playing game, or before I learned of the Mechamorphosis, which is a kind of knockoff Transformers. But it's still a very cool game. I've done videos on both of those so far. So, anyway, thank you for joining me at looking back at something that's just redundant now. And Hopefully you'll join me next time, where we'll talk about something else. Bye.